Hello everyone, welcome back to more Danganronpa. We are at the third class trial. The class trial of Ibiki and Hiyoko. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I did not see Ibiki getting killed. I did see Hiyoko getting killed at the start, but then she was like starting to redeem herself, but I don't know. I really don't know who the hell did it this time, but without further ado, let's begin. Class trial's ready!
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial.
Shall we?
During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
We all know this.
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh well, who cares about this boring explanation? Let's get on with it already!
Even the bears getting sick of it.
I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp of how the case played out. You know, because I was asleep the whole time.
And crazy, and drugged, and under a frickin' despair disease.
Even if you do grasp it, you're just gonna confuse the heck out of us, aren't you?
But you will.
But Nagito's not alone. I don't really get it either.
True.
You're fine. Your head's empty anyway.
You are asking for trouble.
Empty head? Huh. What's wrong with that? Listen up. The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know?
I mean, that's one way of putting it. Moving on.
Anyway, we shouldn't proceed with the trial if those two can't participate in the arguments. Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Hajime to explain the incident and the sequence of events?
Oh, okay. This is a first.
Then, let's start with when we split into the hospital team and motel team because of the despair disease.
Which, again, how did you make that, Monokuma?
The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were infected, and Mikan, Fuyuhiko, and me.
The other 5 on the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hyoko.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
Yep.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened. Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from his symptoms.
Oh, she came to wake you up in a very seductive way.
We immediately headed over to the hospital, and after we confirmed his recovery, I made Mikan rest in the on-call room, since she hadn't slept all night, while I waited in the hospital lobby. And then, I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time.
Uh-huh.
When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was...
What seemed to be a suicide.
A video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder.
Amazing! That's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you do, Hajime?
I ran all the way over there, you jackass.
I tried to stop them, of course. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue. But it was too late. By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling. I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel.
Why the motel?
Well, Mikon was sleeping, Fukihiro hadn't gone there yet, and the only other people that were at the hotel were you, who were crazy sick.
Because it was close to the music venue, and unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there. At least, that's what I thought. But the only person who came with me was Chiaki.
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikon and Fuyuhiko.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our sight.
After I rested for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital. And then I noticed Ibuki was gone, so I sprinted out of the hospital.
Uh-huh.
Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko, so I pled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
What did you mean by in various ways?
Various ways?
Even he picked up on it.
Don't say it like that and confuse people.
After I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag.
Okay.
So I immediately led them to the music venue.
Alright, we all rushed there. The door was locked. We had to bash it open.
But the door wouldn't open.
Yeah.
Since we had no other option, the four of us broke down the door.
2 guys, 2 girls.
And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hyoko's. And not just that. Her body was taped to a pillar.
Yep.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
Yeah, and I did not see Hyoko's body at the first time either.
And so we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
Good, now shut up.
Well, it's clear what the problem with this case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who...
Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true?
And there it is. You are an asshole. Huh?
Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now. And the story I just heard is clearly suspicious.
How is it suspicious?
Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want right now, right?
Damn you.
Lie? Why would I lie?
Obviously. So you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you.
I hate you so much right now, Nagito.
Do you doubt me?
If you're not lying, I would like you to prove it.
How am I meant to prove? Mikon!
Come on, try to prove it to me. Prove you're not the killer.
Mikon woke me up. Ugh. It's just as Kazuha said, Nagito is the kind of guy who will just confuse us and make us mistake ourselves. Damn it! I should have expected it from Nagito. I'm in trouble, and now thanks to that. Oh, I've got an idea. Mikon was there with me. Mikon.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I'm not a killer!
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime is the only witness.
Nope! Or not.
Damn it!
Mikon got...
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
Hajime's testimony is a lie. than the fact that Ibuki hung herself.
That would also...
I don't think I can... After all, Hajime is the only one.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously, because he's the killer.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
How could I kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's
I never saw
fault.
the movie! I never saw the movie.
Hajime's testimony is clearly...
Hajime's and the fact that Ibuki...
That would also...
I don't think I can... After all,
Why would Hajime...
Well, obviously,
Did Hajime kill both...
the fact that the bodies were imitating the movie...
I never saw the movie!
No, that's wrong!
So how would I know what the bodies were moving like?
I'm not the killer! I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
Because I didn't see it. My proof's the sticker and the bear can vouch for it.
Of course you're not. I already knew that.
Then why did you bring it up, you asshole?
Huh?
He knows because we told him. Twice.
Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that.
I hate you.
Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't that right, Monokuma?
Yes, no mistakes there.
I hate you, Nagito.
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it.
Well, thank you for that brief expression, you jackass.
Or did anyone tell him what happens in the movie? Of course no one did, right?
hold on a sec. You're the one who brought this up in the first place.
And he's just doing it to annoy us.
Nagito, what are you doing?
Well, since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation.
I hate...
It also provides a good warm-up.
You are just evil.
What warm-up? This isn't a game, you know.
Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important. Especially since this isn't a game.
Moving on.
What a waste of time. Well, I knew it would turn out like this anyway.
Yeah, it's Nagito. Who else would it be?
Now then, since we know Hajime's testimony is reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
That's probably why he told me to hold on to the ticket as well.
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay, but why?
Then that seals it! Ibuki committed suicide!
Well, that doesn't explain Hiyoko.
If Ibuki committed suicide, then who killed Hiyoko?
A murder coincidentally occurring in the same place as a suicide. Ain't possible, huh?
Like I said before, it's pretty clear what the problem with this case is. The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone.
Yes.
So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
And we can establish I wasn't the murderer, Chiaki or you weren't the murderer, or Mukon.
Then let's
Mikon.
ask Hajime. How long would you say you were away from the music venue?
I would say at least under 10 minutes.
I couldn't have been gone for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So they killed Hiyoko and taped her up within 10 minutes? There's no way that's possible.
Unless she was already dead.
That's why the killer stalled for time by making the music venue a closed room.
What do you mean, a closed room?
We couldn't get in.
The killer blocked the venue door from the inside to try and keep us from entering right away.
However, that door is the only entrance to the music venue, right?
As far as we're aware.
If they blocked the door from the inside, the killer would not have been able to leave either.
That's true.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which means, when we broke down the venue door, the killer was still inside.
They were?
If that's the case, the only suspicious people are those who don't have an alibi for that time. And that's you two, Sonia and Kazuichi.
Yep.
Me too?
Yes. Not nice having it on the other foot now, is it?
What the hell? Why's it gonna be us?
Because we didn't know where you two were.
The others all have alibis. Chiaki, Mikon, Hajime, and I all broke down the venue door together. Gundam met up with Hajime at the motel right before that. And if Akane and Nagito were laid up in the hospital, the only person that leaves is one of you.
Uh-huh.
There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru.
That's true, but he's not well, is he?
Me too!
You're not Necromaru, you damn bear!
Hey, why are you talking like, huh? You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you?
Please stop making bad jokes.
It's Monokuma, he makes nothing but bad jokes.
Anyway, if the killer was hiding inside the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis.
What a wicked way of backing us into a wall! Is this his professional skill?
I think it is. The killer was inside the music venue? Fukihiro obviously thinks so, but... Is it really that? Is it really... How could it be that, though? Let's see, the drumstick, hold on. Room key... Oh, wait!
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The drumstick.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that
Oh,
as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer who was hiding inside waited till we gathered together and suddenly appeared.
So they look like they had just rushed over.
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
Okay, the person may... I should be able to prove it with my deductions.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door. By doing that, the killer who was hiding inside waited till we got and suddenly...
So they look like they...
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
Well, it's only two options here. I scan the drumstick, or I...
The killer was still in... By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had...
The lock was on the floor and...
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock. By doing that, the killer waited till we got and suddenly...
So they look like they...
I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
don't really... I think it's the first one. It's the only one I can think of, so I'm gonna keep
The
this.
killer was still inside the music by locking the door from the in...
Oh, wow, I got it in one
No,
shot.
that's wrong!
I don't even know what I just shot.
Hold on a sec. There's also a possibility that the door was locked from the outside.
The slime.
From the outside? How?
There was a semi-transparent glob stuck to the venue door. Maybe that's what they used.
It was very rubbery. Hey, Chiaki, you put some of that in your mouth.
Semi-transparent glob. Like rubber, maybe?
Glue?
I see!
It's glue.
That semi-transparent glob must have been glue.
Glue?
Glue will stick anything, especially if it's super glue.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, it smells like workshop, so I guess.
It had a firm, gel-like chewiness. And I could smell workshop chemicals the moment I put it in my mouth.
Why did you do that as well?
Based on all that, I'm certain it was glue.
I didn't know glue was edible.
It's not, and don't you dare eat it.
I believe it is not something one typically eats.
No, Chiaki only put it in her mouth, she spat it back out.
That glue was only applied to the areas where both doors touched. By pouring it in the gaps of the closed door, they must have sealed the venue door from the outside.
And thanks to that, a glob of glue was left where the door was stuck. Yep, it fits perfectly.
Yep.
But if you just stick them together with glue, you'd be able to break down the door easily, you know?
Not with the heat.
That doesn't really matter. The killer only did that to make us think the door was locked from the inside.
True. Plus the heat. The venue was hot as hell inside, and it's a tropical area outside. Enough heat could dry that in no time.
What'd you say?
First of all, didn't that drumstick we found seem really obvious?
Yeah.
Almost unnaturally so?
It was like an obvious clue.
It was so obvious that it makes more sense to think the killer placed it as a diversion.
Are you saying the drumstick was a trap the killer set on purpose?
What if the drumstick was placed right after they came rushing into the venue?
Then I totally fell for that fucking trap.
Yes, you did. We both did.
Apologize to Miss Sonia and me. However, you're not allowed to slice open your stomach this time.
Yeah, try not to do that.
In a quarrel, both sides are to blame. That's why it's better to just have no sides at all.
And this is why we like you to shut the hell up. Monokuma, permission to hit her, please.
So, during the 10 minutes Hajime left the venue, the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed space?
And they also taped her up after killing her, right?
Even quick work has limits.
Very limits.
Oh, what unimaginable speed for a slowpoke like me.
Okay.
If they couldn't have done it while Hajime was away from the venue, they must have done it earlier than that.
When, though? Earlier?
But when Hajime got to the venue, only Ibuki's body was there, right?
And when you went back with everyone else, Hiyoko's body was there too, right?
Yes.
But it's possible that the body was just revealed at that time, when Hiyoko was actually killed earlier.
The dark cloak. She was wrapped around it.
Just revealed?
The freaking cloak. Oh, she was hidden then we got there. Then it was like, oh, God.
Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. The killer did that too. Here, I have proof.
That fabric.
That scrap of paper. Is that what we found in the baton lighting at the music venue?
Yes, your 4 Dark Divas got it.
That's right, but just what is this scrap anyway?
That scrap of paper. That's clearly... I know what that is. Now I should be able to figure out what it is. Am I going to do the surfboard again, or... No, it's the layers. Okay, dark light, so I need D. God damn it. Nope. Oh, W. Okay, W. Not P. Not R. Okay, I need an A then. This is... Oh, good lord. An L? Oh god, then E, I would think. No, R? God! Spelling, my mort- Oh god, this is ridiculous. God. They're so... What? Okay, so it's 2 L's. Wall. Oh, God. Wall. Okay, Okay. No! No, it's that one. Ah! I fucking hate spelling. Spelling is my one weakness. Oh, God, hit the wrong keys. Yeah, I ain't giving up.
We will never give up!
Never give up, never give in. Give it all you got to the very end. Was it wallpaper? I guess it could be wallpaper then, if that's the case. So, I need W for the start. I hate when this happens. I mean... There's a W. W. No, okay, it wasn't W. I need an I next, I think, so. Or W. What? No, A. W, A, W. All. I need L's. One L. 2 L's. Now I need P. Wall pay. A, okay. E. No. Pay. Oh, God. There we go. Wallpaper.
I got it.
That is so annoying how they just randomly do that.
That's scrap. Isn't it part of the wallpaper in the storage room?
Yep, it is.
In the music venue storage room, there should have been black wallpaper that's the same color as that scrap.
And we found a torn bit.
There was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there? If so...
You're right. If you overlay the scrap that was caught on the lighting with the tear in the wallpaper...
It matches up.
See? It fits perfectly.
I see. So the scrap that was caught on the baton lighting was originally part of the wallpaper.
Yep.
And what's wrong with that? Does it have something to do with Hiyoko's body disappearing?
It was hidden behind the wallpaper.
A mere nobody like me isn't important enough to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys were exceptional enough to identify that scrap of paper, you can figure this out easily.
That scrap of paper... I know what it is. It hit her body. If I turn it back for there... Alright, let's give this a try. Here we go with a dive in. Time to surfboard again. Hang 10. Oh, no. Oh, God, I feel like Sonic up in here. Whee! I don't know how to feel about this, but I love it. Okay, question 1. Why did Hiyoko's body suddenly appear? It was behind... It was hidden. Got it right. Woohoo! Surf's up, dudes! You know, this is by far the funnest minigame I've ever had to do. Question 2. Why did the killer use her body? A clue. The wallpaper. Yeah! Gotcha! Gotcha! Oh, God! This is getting ridiculous now. Oh, no. Woohoo! Auto jumps. And go, Hajime! Question 3. How did the killer hide her body with the wallpaper? They fired the wall. They covered the wallpaper. I'm gonna go with red. Please be right. I've got 50-50 chance of getting it right. And I got it wrong. I got it wrong, but I can accept that by moving forward. Also, how am I defying gravity like this? We're here! Okay, I got the questions in the end.
It's all coming together.
I got the answer. Sherlock DJ's got the answers.
Hyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
Before you found it.
But it would have taken quite a long time to tape up a hidden body.
Yeah.
No, the body was already taped up and the killer hid it, along with the pillar using the wallpaper.
What? They hid the pillar?
In plain sight.
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar. So when I first discovered Ibuki's body, Hyoko's body was already there.
Yeah.
However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar, I didn't realize that at the time.
I was more concerned about the hanging body.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, it makes sense that you'd notice Ibuki's body right away.
So they used the baton lighting on the ceiling to hang the wallpaper?
Uh-huh.
The baton lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar, so using it to hang the wallpaper totally fits.
Then, the reason the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers was to make it look like that pillar.
Okay.
That's how they hid Hyoko's body, and then peeled off the wallpaper as soon as I left the music venue.
Hid it in plain sight.
But the killer made a mistake. They accidentally ripped off a piece of the wallpaper. And because of that, a scrap was left on the baton lighting.
The killer must have been in a hurry. If their plan took too long, Hajime could have walked in on them.
But going to the trouble of hiding the body and the pillar is very bold and risky.
Extremely bold and risky.
But the crime itself would be much easier to pull off since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone.
True.
They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
It is not.
Then, when was Hyoko actually killed?
That's a very good point.
Good point. And on that note, it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
Okay, go for it.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once. But what is that?
Oh, simple. Someone's copycat killed the movie that the bear made.
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen my masterpiece? The Wizard of Monami 2.5D?
I don't recommend it. 0 stars out of 5.
Hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
She what?
I don't eat mothballs. I just enjoy looking at them. I knew it. There are so many similarities. It must have been intentional.
Ibuki's death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie.
Right.
Not just that, but Hyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
Uh-huh.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
Last thing we need is a mutilated body.
But why did the killer go to all this trouble in the first place?
I have no idea why.
Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out.
It's not. The reason the killer intended to hide the weapon, to mix up the killing order, become like the movie, to let their actions escape, become like the movie? Nope. That's obviously not it.
Crap!
I really mucked that up. The reason the killer to hide the weapon, to mix up the killing order, to let there actually escape.
I see!
To muck up the killing order.
The reason the killer imitated 2 of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Okay.
Then Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
Okay.
A valid line of reasoning.
So if if Hiyoko got killed first, then Ibuki. Okay.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
Okay. What do you mean?
Well, she was hanging.
If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
Please do.
I'm not even crying.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
Oh, Gundam, do you ever just shut up?
What a jerk!
I know, right?
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying, right?
An even bigger jerk? Impossible!
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right?
Yes, that's right.
That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
And the blood was already there because of Hiyoko's body.
What's wrong with that?
The blood!
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed. That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
How light. Your words are so light as the sylph's feather. Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
Gundam, what do you have against people?
Man, he's being annoying again.
We got one that's being annoying and twisting the truth, and now we got one that's annoying with hamsters.
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed.
Yes.
How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
You don't have psychic powers either.
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
Walking.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
No, I know what it is.
You're one to talk.
Anyway, if this continues, we're just going to talk in critic. I think the best if we conflare, it's the fact that she walked on the blood. Make your analysis. Blood stains. Blood on the slippers.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
No.
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
Her slippers.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Just as Sonia said, Ibuki stepped on something.
And the proof's on the slippers.
That something was blood. There were faint blood stains on the soles of her slippers.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She
No.
suffered no external injuries.
Then it's Hiyoko's blood!
Hiyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
May she rest in peace.
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded. which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye!
Gundam, why?
Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
What is with you, Gundam?
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
I think it does.
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? That's a good line. But are you sure you're sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed, you know.
Oh, God.
You're so frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our difference in status.
You're an idiot.
However, the time for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest.
Well, you're making an entertainment of everyone else. I mean, you're pretty much being a one-man show with your hamsters. Okay then, let's have fun with my sword of justice. Okay, so I need motel key. I don't know what to choose. I'm gonna stick with this.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hyoko? Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no... You can't step on blood that was never there. Just about... Did you see a nice nightmare?
Okay, I need the right thing to say.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet. Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the
Slice!
floor.
And wrong one.
Crap! You're saying the
there
blood
was
on
blood on the
Ibuki's
floor.
feet belonged to Hyoko? Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the
Stain
crime
on the
scene.
floor.
You can't
God
step
damn
on
it.
blood that was never there. Just about... Did you see a nice nightmare?
I hate how I just get a rhythm going with the music in this. No, there's stains on the floor.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet. Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
Slice!
Allow me to cut through those words.
Shing!
That's not it. The reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
It was cleaned.
Don't say such foolish things. You don't have proof of that at all.
No, but we do. Kyoko, do you want to show it? I mean,
Yes,
Chiaki.
I do. If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time,
But they didn't do a good enough job.
Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right?
Yes.
Even if they're able to hide Hyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Oh, definitely. It'd be like, I look at a dead body, next thing I see blood on the floor, like, what the hell is that leading to?
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Nope.
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding.
Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating. So I don't think they had to go that far.
Ugh.
Aside from Mikon, none of us were aware of that fact, so the killer probably did not know it either.
Okay.
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Mikon's autopsy?
True.
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
It did fuck up with the corpse.
If the time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yep. Since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right?
Sonia, you saw her last, didn't you?
Then it's decided. Hyoko was killed before Ibuki.
Yeah, we can definitely say that. And we can definitely ask someone who actually saw Hyoko first.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now.
Just stay quiet with your hamsters.
Fine then. But regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
You do that, buddy. You do that.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
I don't think he can.
Now then, let us resume our debate.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Which is...
Again? Didn't something like this happen last time, too?
I think so.
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
That's a good point. Huh? Suicide?
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is.
And if the killer is already dead,
Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself. Unfortunately, that means there's no Blackened to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
Why me?
because you're annoying.
Nagito? What do you mean? If the victim actually committed suicide?
Well, I mean, I understand Hyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered.
That's a good point.
For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko, and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
That is very true, but at the same time, why was the body covered, and how did the tarp get removed?
That's totally impossible. Then she never would have killed her to begin with.
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember?
True.
That means anything can happen.
I mean, you're talking nonsense.
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right?
That is very true.
After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hyoko's body soon after means
Means that it wasn't her.
the killer had to be alive at that time.
Then she was alive.
What?
When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead. If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and mess with the crime scene.
She hanged herself. Remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that.
There is no way.
And if she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging.
No, there's more convenient ways to fake your death.
Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
I see. So that means
You're wrong. Shut up. Let's move on.
there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer.
What the heck?
There's still one more issue on my mind.
Which is...
If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw?
That's a good point. Huh?
According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right?
Right.
Then does that mean someone forced her to do it?
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
No, you can't hypnotize someone to kill themselves. Instinct kicks in. Like, your instinct to live kicks in. I've actually know this because I watched a documentary on hypnotism, and apparently people tried that, and it was like, nope, it won't work. Your instinct to live kicks in. But you can still make him chuck like a chicken.
I don't know anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something.
They did do something.
So, maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was.
So, an alibi. Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi.
Okay.
Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
Yeah, that makes me free.
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It shouldn't.
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
Good.
Then, the video Hajime saw was actually live?
What time did Hajime see that video?
Before the morning announcements.
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement. And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement.
Right.
And since we established that Hyoko was killed before Ibuki, That means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
Then we just have to find the person who doesn't have an alibi during that time?
Okay.
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence.
That's a weak-ass name. Okay, then. Alibi. Shioka's alibi. Fukuhiro's alibi, okay.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
Yes.
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
Were you?
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
Yes, he was.
That's not an alibi.
It is.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed.
We can exclude the sick people like me and
Fukuhiro's
Akane,
alibi.
right?
And what about the others?
Right before I was totally sleeping.
I think everyone at
So everyone who stayed at...
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
Or not. We were sleeping in our own cottage, right? Oh god, I've... Hey, Hajime, can't you do something about that? I'm continuing...
Crap!
Sorry. Looks like I made a mistake.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
Movies...
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be,
hit the wrong
my
thing
own
again.
cottage.
That's not an alibi.
It is an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an
What
alibi,
about your
then
alibi?
Crap!
Okay, then I'm mucking up
We can
big time.
exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
Mikon's alibi.
And what about the others?
Well, Mikon was with me.
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then
What about Mikon? She wasn't...
No, that's wrong!
Mikon...
Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi. In fact, Mikon and I both have alibis.
Yeah, we had a lovely romantic evening together.
you two have alibis?
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikon and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning.
Don't say it like that!
Hey, what kind of situation is that?
None of your concern.
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime.
I almost suffocated by boob. I'm dead.
Too much info.
She's never gonna look at me the same way again.
Yeah, it's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagato's condition had improved.
And we went to the hospital together afterward. So we were together until right before the announcement.
Yes. Plus, you wanna know how she got in? Ibiki broke my door.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
We're free as birds.
If that's the case, the killer must be someone else.
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
Okay.
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
It feels like Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has backed us into a corner instead.
Yeah, good operation plan, Sonia.
But committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was?
What do you mean? Huh?
faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process. Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie?
What you talking about, Nagato?
Are you saying there was another reason?
I feel really bad for confusing you guys so much, but that's how I feel.
You don't feel bad. You just feel joy.
I think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence.
The killer had a different reason? If that's the case, are we still in the killer's trap? Inside the trap set by one of us? If so, then who and what kind of trap is it?
Hiya!
Stop it!
What a disappointment!
Danganronpa.